Hey guys, Zangetsu here. Well, that's my YouTube name, and I'm here with my GARO chapter of the Black Wolf episode 7 review. So, in this episode, Koga is trying to figure out the mystery behind Ray, what he's doing here and who he is, and Ray's going around and doing horror hunting stuff on his territory and also targeting Kaoru for elimination. This all comes to a head at the halfway point of the episode and eventually leads to Ray and Koga fighting while also trying to get to a horror. So this is, in my opinion, where the show really starts to get the best at it is. Sorry, I thought I had something in my mustache. Because it's really where we get to see a lot of Ray here. We get to see that he clearly has some sort of grudge with Koga, or at least the title of Garo. We get to see more interactions with him and the rest of the cast to give an idea of what he's doing, who he is, and what he's trying to get after. And we also get to have a really awesome fight scene. This is the first of many Koga versus Ray fights in the show. And it's arguably my favorite. Because the two start off fighting with their fists, then their blades, and then they try to beat the other two hunting a horror, and then finally after they defeat the horror, they spend the last seconds of their transformation fighting each other, and it is a really awesome fight because they're at like the top of these giant skyscrapers, and they fight down the skyscraper, and it's really good. And it's early 2005 CGI, but it looks really good even for the time. Like, it doesn't look nearly as dated as some of the other CGI effects we'll be seeing in this show. It actually looks like they spent a lot of the budget on it. But yeah, it's a really neat episode. We also get to see that Makai Knights also do horror hunting stuff in the day. Horrors don't normally attack during the day. However, they do these gates called Inga gates, which horrors are born from, which we've seen previously, can be cleansed of their energy in the day by having the night pull the dark shadows out and then destroying them with their blades. Which honestly makes sense because it like why they do that, and yet horrors still show up because, sorry, it's early in the morning. I'm trying to do this before I go to work, so I'm kind of tired. Where's I going with this? Oh, and so like they can only do so many because we see Ray gets really exhausted by destroying how many gates he destroyed. So, like they can only do so many, and not only that, I wouldn't be surprised if gates still show up. And they can only destroy so many before sundown. And we also get to see that there's a bit of a mystery behind who Ray is, because Gonza and Koga look up who he is. Like, they know that he's the Silver Knight of the Western District, since Koga is the Eastern District, which, according to fan theory, makes it seem that like there are 4 Makai Knights to a city, each having one of the directions of the the cardinal directions of the compass. I really don't know how much I agree with that, just because it seems like if that were the case, we'd see a lot more knights. But you'll see why I say that in a little bit when we actually get into the history of the Makai realm. But yeah, they see that he's the Knight of the Eastern District, but they don't have any record of like the lineage. Which really won't be a thing that will come into play until the second season. So I don't know why they bring it up here. We also get this really awesome scene where Ray goes to the place where Kaoru got her newest job as a maid at a maid cafe, which makes me giggle a lot because I know people love those things in Japan. I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably want to go to there too, just because I want to try the sweets and just say I've ever been there if I ever go to Japan. So yeah, but like it's really hilarious because he orders like half the menu. Like he has like a massive sweet tooth, which is one of the reasons why Ray is one of my favorite Makai Knight characters. Um, so yeah, um, yeah, it's a really good fight, and we get to see Ray. Once again, we get to see why like hints to Koga's past, particularly of the fact that that Ray like pricks Koga into fighting by first saying, why are you trying to save Kaoru? She should be dying. Like she should be dead. She was bathed in the blood of a horror, and he even goes into what happens to people that are bathed in the blood of the horror. It's not pretty. Let's just say they develop a horrible foul odor and their muscles crumble. Those are Ray's words, not mine. And but yeah, eventually he even insults him being Garo, and then finally just says, "Wow, you're about as big of a failure as your dad." And that's what sets Koga off. In fact, Koga draws his blade first, which is a big no-no in the Makai realm. Like, it's even like a law that Makai knights do not fight other knights, which we'll see later on. There's exceptions to that rule, but yeah, they do not. You're not supposed to fight other knights. That's not your job as a Makai knight. And that leads into the fight, and it's such a great fight. There's a lot of really good wire work, a lot of fantastic swordplay. Like it's just sorry, I'm distracted. But sorry. But yeah, like it's got a lot of wire work, a lot of really good hand to hand between Koga's actor. I fused the end of Seijima with Koga. Sorry. But like it's got a great fight where Koga and Ray are both doing their own fighting choreography, their own sword play. And even down to the fight in the CGI on the building where like Ray knocks Koga down, he's sliding down the building and he has to stop himself with his sword, and the two are just clashing blades, and you see like Koga catch the blade as Garo, and like his hands bleed from catching the blade. Yeah, and it's just a really, really good fight. Like, it's most of the episode, which I can't, I can't go into play by play with the, with, you know, with the fight because it's like half the episode, but like it's just a really good fight. It's intense. There's a lot of great action, and um, and it has a great ending because like Ray de-armors first, and like the two are just exhausted, but Ray has enough strength to get away, and it just kind of ends where like Koga clearly realizes the two are eventually gonna probably end up killing each other with the way they're fighting, and Zero or Ray, his Makai Knight name is Zero. He's Silver Knight Zero, which you'll see because he looks really cool. In fact, Ray actually means zero in Japanese. So because every knight again has a meaningful name to usually that's tied to. Sorry, tied to their armor. Like and like Ray stalks off to like to nurse his wounds on his own, and he grows frustrated at the fact that he got his butt kicked by Koga. Even if it did end in a tie, he's still de-armored first. And meanwhile, Koga goes back to his manor with Gonza to help pick him back up after he almost collapses from exhaustion. So yeah, no, it's a really good episode. I'm sorry there wasn't much to it, but the horror in this episode isn't really that much of a horror. It's the basic horror design. We don't even get a name. And most of the episode is just Ray and Koga clashing with each other. It's a good episode, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's just there's not much for me to talk about. Sorry, I keep going over to my wall of stuff there. But yeah, I would recommend this. This is my favorite episode. Has one of my favorite episodes. Has a really good fight. Has an interesting plot developments. And overall, it's a good episode. It's a great second episode to introduce Ray. And yeah, next episode I'll have a lot more to talk about. There's just not much here about this one. So yeah, that's my review of GARO episode chapter of the Black Wolf episode 7, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.